Okay, let's talk a little bit about the very first steps to teaching a sit command. So what I'd like to do is start, good girl. What I'd like to do is start by teaching you the difference between what I would call a rock back sit and a off and a tucked sit. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little both versions and see if you can see the difference. I'm going to teach my dog a tucked sit, and the reason being is if you notice when we do a rock back sit, the dog goes from heel position, and then when he rocks back into a sit, he's no longer in heel position. He's back a little bit further away from the handler. Versus a tucked sit, his shoulder blades stay in heel position and he tucks his rear in. So in order to do that, I like to use my paw pad again to help lure my dog into a tucked sit. The more you work with a tucked sit, the more your dog will just offer it to you, because it's just like they do it over and over and over again, and they'll remember to tuck their rear in. So I'm going to get my paw pad. I like to teach duration in a stand position on my paw pad first, but then I will start working on a sit position. I'm going to put that right there so you guys can see. Yeah. So she already knows to put her front paws up on the paw pad. I'm just going to lure her into a sit position. I have her kibble here. I'm going to bring her treat straight over her head. Good girl. Yes. Good girl. Okay. Good job. Good girl. So it's not going to be that easy with a young puppy because they don't really know what you're looking for. Kiana's done this enough. So you're going to have to be patient. Hold that treat up there. Keep it up front. Make sure you're rewarding for front feet on that paw pad and getting them to lure into a sit position. So again, we're going to get into, oh, and look at that horrible wide. Yeah, there we go. Get in there closer. Kiana, sit. Yes. Good girl. Okay. Let's try that again. So again, I'm going to lure them. I'm going to take my treat. I'm going to bring it right up over top of her head and see if she will offer me a nice sit position. Good girl. So one thing we want to remember that we do not want to do, and I know it's tempting, you want to push your dog's butt down. If you ask them to sit and they don't sit, they don't respond, you want to push that butt down. Do not do that, especially with these dogs, because eventually if they become service dogs, they may have to do some brace work. And what brace work is it will help the handler transfer from possibly a wheelchair to another chair, or from one chair to the other, or maybe they fell and they need to brace on the dog, put all of their body weight on the dog so that they can stand up and balance. So you don't want a dog that when you put weight on them to SIT when they're doing that brace work. So we never, ever, ever want to push down on that rear. If you're really struggling and you want to get your dog into a better sit and you have to, you can tuck their rear in like so, but do not ever push on their rear at all. I like to lure it until I get a really nice sit position. The other thing I can do is put a little bit of leash pressure up here. I don't have my leash with me, but put my leash pressure up here, ask my dog to sit. And she's ignoring me. Good girl, yay. And she should know that when she feels a little bit of leash pressure to position herself in an SIT position. But very beginning stages, we don't even have to worry about that. We are gonna start by just luring our dog into a sit. Kiana, let's get on there straight. Good girl, closer, good girl. So I'm gonna show my treat, bring it up over her head. Yes, good girl. Okay, so that's the very beginning stages of sit. I ask my dog to sit, I use a verbal cue, and I lure him into position. Then I can start getting rid of that lure and start expecting a nice sit position. So once you've lured it and your dog can do a nice sit position, then we can start verbally cueing the dog first. Kiana, sit. And then if they don't respond, we can go ahead and use a hand signal. I do not have a treat in my hand. Yes. And then I can reward. So trying to fade. I don't think I released you, did I? Good girl. So there I didn't release her with my release word, so I put her back into a sit position. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, yay! Good job. Can I sit? Yes, good girl. It's kind of crooked. Oops, and there she got up. Do you notice when I reached for my treat here, she automatically got up. So I'm going to position her back. I'm not going to repeat my command. Good girl. So I'm not repeating. I'm using kind of a hand cue. I do not have treats in my hand. You gave her a little bit of collar pressure. Good girl. Good girl. I'm going to try reaching in my pocket again. Make sure she doesn't get up. Very good. I'm going to reward that. Yes. Okay. Okay, one more time. Ready? Can I sit? Good. Okay. So the other thing we really want to make sure that we're doing is we stand tall. So I don't want to be squatting on, I don't want to be going like this. I don't want to be doing a whole lot of hand motions. And when I give a hand signal, I'm giving it as a help for my dog, but I really want to fade that. So eventually I really want to make sure that the dog hears my verbal cue first. So the key is when you're training your dog and you're starting to fade your lure, you get away from the lure. If you need to pull your hand out and give them a hand signal, great, you can do that. But make sure they hear your verbal cue first because you really want them listening to your verbal cue. Can I sit? Yes. And then we can start expecting just off of the verbal cue. Standing tall, not doing a whole lot of body motions. They're going to just listen to our verbal cue. Stand. Can I sit? So there I'm going to let her think about it. Yes, good girl. So notice I did not repeat my command. I waited her out. Okay. And if she wouldn't have done it, I might have broke her off and tried again and just reset her. So that is the very first step to the sit position and teaching your dog a sit. Hopefully that's helpful to you. Happy training, and we'll see you back here for more training fun. Bye.